Welcome to episode 60, and today what we're going to do is demystify the modes. Now, when anybody talks about the major scale modes, it's always mentioned in a kind of fearful kind of thing, like it's a big deal, and it is a big deal. What I want to do, and it's not just going to happen in this episode, but it's going to be a series of episodes to break down some things that we can make that whole job of learning it easier. And this is the starting point today. We're going to talk about the major scale modes. And it's like with the major scale, you have 7 separate scales. Okay, so any scale that I have, so if I play the major scale, it has that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do sound to it. Okay, that scale, like all the scales in the modes of the major scale, every one of them has a name. So if we're starting from the root of the major scale, and that is the key center that we're dealing with, that is going to be called the Ionian scale. Now, get all these names from ancient Greece, and this is cool stuff to study. So the history of all the names of it. But anyway, so that the Ionian scale. So we already know about the major scale. So, but let's think of it as the Ionian scale. So we're starting from the root, and then what we do is we just create melodies, and then we have chord progressions within that scale that are common. Okay. And the most important chord in that scale is going to be the G major, because that's what everything goes back to. So the key center is G major in this particular example, the Ionian scale. Scale of the major scale, the next mode, if we were to start on the second degree of the same 8 notes, 7 notes including the octave is 8. So the key of G major has 1 sharp. If we started that scale and that tonality on an A note, it sounds like a completely different scale in a very usable scale. Okay, so that is called the Dorian scale. And I'm using the same 8 notes, except the key center is not going to be G major anymore. The important chord is A minor. A lot of times when we have like a D7, that's kind of a Dorian progression. So, okay, let's try the Dorian. This is going to be A Dorian. of the major scale. If we start on the B of, take the same notes of the G major scale, but the key center is B, and specifically B minor, and then we have some sort of, it's kind of a Spanish kind of sound. The Spanish kind of sound is what we call Phrygian. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the same, the key center is going to be B, not G, not A, but B. And when that's the case, it's going to be B Phrygian. Now the deal, like any scale, we're going to have characteristic notes, and the characteristic note of the Phrygian scale is at flat 2 right there. And this will be for in future lessons, but for right now, we're just going to play the B major or the B Phrygian scale, same notes as G major, but it sounds different because B minor is the key center. Kind of sounds like a different scale altogether, not the same notes. So that's B Phrygian. That's an Aldemiola. That's like heavy metal loves Phrygian. It's like, it's kind of exotic sounding. Okay, so that is going to be Phrygian. All right, the fourth mode of the major scale is if I play the same exact notes but put C as the key center is now going to be C, not G, not any of the other ones, but C. That is called the Lydian scale. So again, whenever we're learning the modes, we're learning 7 different scales. We're breaking down the major scale into 7 different sounds. So the Lydian scale is more spacey. It's more Steve Vai, more Joe Satriani. It's more, there's like Tears for Fears in there. There's pop. There's all kinds of applications for this. So, all right. So the Lydian scale. All right. Check it out. Super cool sounding, kind of spacey, kind of modern sounding. It's not, yeah. Anyway, every one of these scales has a different kind of a characteristic. Okay, so the fifth mode of the major scale is the Mixolydian. So if I start, everything is going to be based off of either the D major or the D7 chord. I'm rocking too hard. All right, so key center is D Mixolydian. Super, super useful mode. Some of these modes are going to be used more often than others. The Mixolydian and the Dorian is a very useful one. Mixolydian is super useful. D is the key center. Same notes as G major, but the key center is When I say key center, the most important note, everything gravitates back to, is a D. And in this case, either a D major chord or a D7 chord. All right? The Mixolydian. Now that is ridiculously useful. It's like Southern rock, it's country, it's rock and roll, it's jazz, it's blues. Mixolydian is super, super useful. All right. The next one is like the saddest. The natural minor scale and the Aeolian scale are the same thing. So every major scale has a relative minor. We'll learn that in a later episode. But the sixth mode of the major scale, if I start my major scale, my G major scale on an E minor, and the E note is a key center, the E minor chord is the key center. That is your A or E Aeolian. Same notes as G major. Last mode we're going to talk about is what I would consider to be the least useful, but I'm going to try to use it anyway. When I was taught this stuff initially 35 years ago, they said this was unusable, and I don't think anything's unusable. But it's the Locrian scale. It is the unsteadiest of all the major scale modes. But with that said, we all know lots of heavy metal that really gets into dissonance. Okay, so if I'm playing, my key center is an F sharp, if I have the flat 5 and that, the Locrian scale is something you can explore and try. It is the F sharp key center. It is the F sharp diminished triad. It is the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord. All of these things is the key center. So with that said, the last mode of the major scale, from the F sharp to F sharp, all the rest natural, same notes as G major scale, the Locrian scale, the Locrian mode. F sharp Locrian scale, so kind of proving my professors wrong way back in the day. That there's a place for this, and it sounds really cool and menacing and all that kind of stuff. It's heavy metal. It's fusion. You can use it in fusion. There's lots of stuff you can do with it. It is unsettling, okay? But sometimes we want unsettling in our music. This is Rod. I hope this was an education for you. And you have the major scale, and then you have all the modes of the major scale. Each of them have a different sound. Each of them have different characteristics. And this is a journey. You're not going to learn this in 1 week. But this hopefully was a good introduction. If you have any questions at all, put them in the comments. Put them in the comments down below. In Boomer Guitar Sessions, I am Rod. Enjoy the process. I know you can do this, and I appreciate you, and I believe in you. And just continue doing it. That's how you get better. See you later. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you. And always remember,